So I did my homework like I was supposed to, and I'm not going to share everything that I went over in my homework today because your girl wrote down 3 journal pages of stuff. And I really want to encourage people that are struggling um, to ask questions about the program. I don't want to give you all the answers. I don't have all the answers. I just want to share what's on my heart. So we're currently working through the acronym Powerless. And each letter is supposed to stand for something that is holding us back from our healing. I won't share what every letter means because ain't nobody got time for that. But I want to share the ones that really stood out to me. I want to start with loneliness and emptiness. I think so much of being in a place of hurting is feeling alone, is feeling like you're on an island in the middle of the sea that nobody else is on, and there's not another human being for miles and miles and miles. We get so clouded, or at least I do. I get so clouded by my hurts, and I don't know about anybody else, but I used to be a wallower. Still kind of am. Working on that. That's part of what this is for. But if something was hurting me or bothering me, I would wallow in it. I would sit in it, and I would think things like nobody understands. I'm going through this all on my own. And as I was reading today, you know, the book I'm following was talking about how when we're stuck in our hurts, when we're so blinded by what's going on, it's near impossible to see the people around us, to see the support around us, to see other people going through something similar. So I wrote this down because each letter, I summarized what the letter meant in black, and then I wrote my thoughts about it in blue. So I just want to share the blue part with you. I wrote, I am not a single person on a lonely island, no matter how much I may feel like it. When I'm honest about my struggles with others, I start to realize that they have struggles too. Programs like CR would not exist if others weren't struggling too. This isn't a one-person problem where everybody else has their stuff figured out, but the enemy would like us to think that. The enemy comes only to kill, steal, and destroy. And the enemy wants me to feel isolated. I have a lot lower of a chance of recovery and of finding God's purpose for my life and walking that out if I feel alone and defeated and like there's no support. So being reminded of that today was very encouraging. I do want to share one other that I worked on today, and it was talking about worry. Now, as most people know, because my whole life I have been painfully open about everything that I've ever gone through and experienced. So as many people know, I spent a lot of years suffering from anxiety. When I would go to churches or stuff and people would tell me that I was experiencing so much anxiety because I wasn't trusting God enough, I would shut them down. I would not hear another word out of their mouth. I wanted nothing to do with it. And now that I'm finding healing from anxiety, I'm starting to kind of see the other side. So let me just paint this picture for you real quick from the other side, from someone that's been on both. When I was struggling with anxiety, panic attacks would come. Sometimes they were triggered by something that brought up something very sensitive for me or triggered a memory of a past trauma. Um, but sometimes I was triggered, and I would have these horrible panic attacks. Like, I can't even put into words how miserable they are. And sometimes they would just hit out of the blue, out of nowhere. Now those panic attacks, those moments of anxiety, I had no control over. Um, you don't choose to have a panic attack. You don't choose for your body to go into a state of panic where you no longer have control over your breathing, your thoughts, your physical. For me, I would shake and I would rock and I would tap things. I had no control over that. So please don't hear me say that that's something you have control over, because you absolutely don't. Um, and if that's something that you suffer with, please find someone to talk to, a medical professional. I am not qualified to give advice on that matter, but I know for a fact there are resources out there, even if you don't believe in medication, that can help amazingly. But this is the part I do want to talk about. I had no control over my panic attacks. I did, however, have control over the fact that I walked every moment of every day of my life in fear, and of worry. Um, and so I want to read what I wrote here in blue for the inner thoughts part. Well, first in black, for the summary, I wrote, constant worrying shows a lack of trust in God. And then for my inner part, the inner thoughts part, I literally started with the word ouch, because that was something I never wanted to think about. I wrote, how much time have I wasted on worry? Don't get me wrong, we're human. I'm sure there's a normal amount of worry that people experience. Like I've got kids. If you have a sick kid with a fever of 103, of course you're going to worry. You're a mother. Everybody experiences a normal level of anxiety and worry. Please don't hear me condemning that. And I wrote, but I spent so much time worrying way more than I should, worrying about past things that I can't change, worrying about current image, what people think of me, and what I'm getting wrapped up in, and severe worry about the future. I need to trust, which I have a very hard time with. In some areas of my life, I can be over trusting, but when it comes to the big things, I struggle more than I thought. I need to trust that God has already dealt with my past. He's not going to abandon me in my present, and He already sees and has plans for my future. And so, yes, I absolutely believe that there is a healthy, normal amount of worry and fear and anxiety that everybody experiences. But I'm going to start this week, starting tomorrow, because tomorrow is Sunday and it's the beginning of a new week. I am going to start this week by reminding myself every day that God is the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. He's already dealt with my past. He's not going to abandon me in my present, and He already knows my future, and He has good things planned for me. And so when I start worrying, I'm going to repeat that to myself, and I am going to commit one day at a time, because if I try to commit too far ahead, I know that I'm not going to do it because I know myself. But I'm going to start every morning with surrendering my worry. And so if you take anything away from this today, I want you to hear that you are not alone, that programs like CR would not exist if everybody else had their stuff figured out except you. And that our God is so vast Um, I mean, if you think about it, he created the universe. He moves mountains. He parts seas. Don't know anyone else that can do that. He raises dry bones. He can miraculously heal people. He brings the dead to life. He makes blind people see and deaf people hear and lame people dance. Like, if he can do all of that, what do I have to worry about whether or not he can handle what I'm dealing with right now? So I love you guys. I hope that you find this encouraging, and I will talk to you tomorrow.